stop budgeting like your parents. So let's get one thing straight real quick. Please, 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 please stop budgeting like your parents. It's one of the reasons why many people are still broke. And what I want you to know is this: budgeting is not about being guilt-ridden and feeling like I can't spend any money. It's not about being shameful, figuring out, oh my God, I pissed a bunch of money away. And it's not about arguing with your partner. And it's not about feeling bad every time you swipe your credit card or your debit card and you spend some money. The way our parents did it back in the day, that system is outdated, where they wrote every penny down in a notebook or a pad of paper, or they were stressed out because they couldn't find their paper receipts, and maybe they checked their account balances like they were disarming a bomb all the time. Hell, my parents and even my grandparents used to use envelopes to save and budget for everything, and they had a drawer full of envelopes that had names all over them for vacations and cars, and it was crazy how they did it, but we are not going to do it that way anymore. And even when they did those things, many times they feel like they still weren't getting by. But the truth is, at least they weren't going into debt because there weren't as many debt options as there were back then. And even though the old school way can work, in my opinion, for young people, it doesn't work anymore. And with the world of subscriptions and variable incomes and side hustles and $30 lunches, what we need is a modern way to budget, something that will work in today's current lifestyle, not against it, and something simple, something flexible, and something that's actually useful for you guys. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to stop budgeting like your parents and how to start using a system that will help you grow and not feel stuck. And the reason why most budgets fail is if you've ever tried budgeting and you hated it, I get it. Most people hate it, and here's why: because it just feels so damn restrictive. It feels like you're saying no to everything. You can't do anything. And as much as you see videos bitching and moaning about the $5 or $10 coffees, or never going out and never taking a trip, or never going out to dinner, you can do some of those things. But when you turn budgeting into like a diet, we all know, great, I do awesome for a month or 6 weeks or 2 weeks, and then I fall off the wagon because I just don't want to eat that healthy. And part of the reason is this: people are just too detailed. They want you to track every single dollar, and even I say that, but I never want you to do it for long. They set up way too many categories, so they have way too many things like groceries, gas, Amazon, Uber Eats. Like, they want to get too specific, too many subscriptions, too many things they're trying to track. And then when something in your life happens, you forget to log a couple transactions, and your money coming in doesn't exactly match your coming out, and now your whole budget's off, and they just want to quit and give up, and we don't want to go there. So here's what we need to do. If the budget doesn't have some flex to it with real life, it's not going to work. Life is not predictable. Your expenses are not going to be predictable. Shit happens. So one week everything's going great, and the next week you blow a tire, your dog gets sick, your kid breaks his arm, they raise your rent, or they kick you out of your apartment, and it just makes everything a mess. So traditional budgets, they don't bend, and when there's no flexibility, things just break. And when the plan breaks, you feel like you failed, and you just say, screw it, I don't want to do this anymore. So we want to find a different way. You didn't fail your budget. What happened is you've been working with a budgeting style that was made for a world that is old school, that doesn't exist anymore. And I've even been, one who gave advice to people to do it that way. So we want to stop the guilt. We want to stop using spreadsheets and pads of paper, even though it can work. It's just most people are never going to do it. And we don't want to budget like it's the 80s. We want to not have a super restrictive plan, and we want to have a strategy that fits for your real life. So we're going to talk about a few different things here and find a budget strategy that works for you. So there's 3 different budgeting styles that will work. And to me, these are kind of the modern systems that you see. They actually work because they're built for different personalities. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of budgeting strategy. And what I want you to do is pick one that will fit for your life, for your energy level. And these might be different if there's one person doing this by themselves versus 2 people doing this together. And so we want to set up something that will work for you. If you're someone who's thinking about getting your financial journey started, do me a favor. Click the link in the description below. It'll give you a list of our top 11 things that you must do to get started on your financial journey. So let's start with the one I talk about the most, which is that 50-30-20 budget. And this one is great for people that are just trying to get started. When I say getting started, what I don't want to have you do now in today's world is start tracking things going forward. Let's go look back 30, maybe 60. If you're really aggressive, you could even go back 90 days. And anymore, you can just pull up all your statements. So whether they're credit card statements, bank statements, pretty much everyone anymore is using debit cards or credit cards or Venmo. You're not using cash a lot. So you can almost track every single dollar you spend. But the 50-30-20 budget, I honestly like to kind of flip the script and start with the 20% first. And in a perfect world, what you would do is you would pull 20% off the top for saving and investing. And so if we use round numbers, let's say your family, 2 incomes together makes $100,000. If you were pulling $20,000 off the top to save and invest, I promise you're going to win long term. And whether that's building up cash reserves, at the beginning, it might be paying off debt. And if we're paying off debt, we might even want to be more aggressive than this 50, 30, 20 budget. But again, if you did nothing more than pull 20% off your income, as your income grows, you still keep pulling 20% off the top and pay yourself first, then the 50-30 part becomes a lot easier, because here's what I don't want people to do. Again, over micromanage these budgets. So again, the 50% part is supposed to be for your needs, which would be your mortgage, your rent, potentially whichever one you have. And of course, it'd be the things for like food, transportation, insurance, your general utility bills, the things you have to have in order to function in today's world. And the 30% would be things that you want: travel, eating out, Netflix, concerts, things you do for fun. But at the end of the day, if you did it this way and become a little more cash user rather than credit user, and again, you made $100,000, and let's assume we've gotten rid of all the debts. No more car payments, no more credit card debt. All the debts are gone, and we're pulling the $20,000, the 20% off the top, and you're living on the $80,000. If you had overlap between your needs and your wants, who cares? As long as you're not spending more than $80,000 and going into debt. So if you build up some cash reserves, you're doing your savings and investing, and you never live beyond your income level, you are going to win. And this is a great place and a great way for people to start. It's simple and easy to track. Once you do that initial kind of see what your budget is, and maybe that first month or two, you're going to track every transaction for a really short amount of time. And then from there, it's easy just to stick to the percentages. It's flexible. It's forgiving. We don't have to worry about if the needs and wants overlap a little bit. And especially if you're new to managing money, it's perfect, because it's a simple formula that both people, I think, can get on the same page with. Now, if you're deep in debt and your income is tight, 30% for wants might be way too much. We might need to shrink that number down and have more money going towards debt reduction and those kind of things, so we can start saving and investing more. But even if you're doing that, it's a great way to start, and you can make this more restrict. So 50, 30, 20 is just basically a setup. You could do 60, 20, 20. You can make it where the savings and investing is 25 and do some crypto. Like, there's a lot of things you can do, but it's a simple, good way to start. The second option is this. It's called a zero-based budget, and it's great for people that are control freaks that want to manage every dollar and want to know that every dollar has a job and every dollar knows where it's going and every dollar and cent is being accounted for. So this works a lot better for people that are like OCD. They want to make sure they know where every dollar is going. It's for my engineers, my pilots, people that they want to manage everything. And so here's how we do it. Let's say in our example that your monthly income was $3,000 after your taxes, right? So $1,100 for rent and $400 for food, $150 for gas, $300 is going towards your debt payments, $500 is going to your savings and investing, and now you have maybe $150 left over for fun. And this way, there is no leftover dollars. Every dollar is accounted for, every dollar is assigned a job, and that way people know everything that's going on. And the reason why it works is this. You're being very intentional with your money. I tell people all the time, if you don't tell your money what to do, it's amazing how at the end of every month, the money's all gone anyway. So if you're really paying attention to this, you're going to know exactly where every dollar's going. And if you want full control and you're motivated to hit really specific goals really fast, this is great. This is just for people, like I said, that are just a little more OCD about their money. Now, the downside is this. This philosophy is going to take more effort. It's going to take more time. And those first few months especially, you're going to be adjusting those numbers as much because you're not exactly sure how it's going to fit in. And again, if you hate spreadsheets or you hate hyper detailed stuff, this one could burn you out long term. And again, that's why I really don't want anyone doing this long term. I would want them doing this for a month or 2 or 3 to really get everything wired tight. Then you automate it, let that bad boy run for itself, which leads us right into budget number 3, which I'm calling the anti-budget. And this is perfect for people that want to do like we talked about. Save first, pull that money off the top, that 20% that we're talking about. If ideally it could even be more. And the rest then you don't have to pay attention to as much because you just know don't run out of money or don't overspend your budget. And you can decide how much you want to do off the top. The rest, once you set up to automatically transfer into your savings investing, you don't have to track. Like I said, that needs and wants category doesn't have to be super detailed as long as you're not overliving your budget. And the reason why this works so well for people, it's a lot less stress. It's a lot less micromanaging. You can do your good behavior and automate all that stuff at the very beginning. And that way you don't have to obsess over every single line item. Now, what is the catch to any of these? There must be discipline. You must make your automatic savings and your debt reduction plan off the top and do it first. And it works best if your income easily covers your essentials with room to spare. So again, you can pick any one of these 3, but you have to automate it, Those first few months, you're going to have to adjust it. And then if you look at this, say, once a quarter, once every 6 months, or once a year, as you've gotten better at it, you won't need it to be perfect. You just need to kind of figure out what you're doing. So pick which one works best for you. If you just start out, do 50, 30, 20, builds great habits. If you want to be overly tight and OCD about it, and you really want to crush your debt or really want to pay attention to every dollar, you can do that zero-based one. But what I don't want you to do is be overwhelmed. You just want it to be simple. And that anti-budget one, honestly, is the simplest one for all of those things. So in today's world, you can also use lots of great budgeting tools. I always send people to Dave Ramsey's website. They've got the Every Dollar app. I know Rocket has some apps, SoFi, Monarch. There's lots of places online where you can do it on a phone. So if that's something you want to do, that's kind of the more modern way to do it. But it's got to be automated. And then once you've got your saving and investing automated, you also want to have your bill pays automated, your rent or your mortgage, your car payment, your credit cards, your utilities. I can go travel for a month if I want to, and literally all my bills get paid. And I don't have to worry about waiting for them to come in the mail. I get an email, it says your bill was paid. It tells you a couple of days before that's going. So if you let the systems do all the heavy lifting and the systems do all the work, it's great. Now, what we want to do is, as you get a raise, or if there's two incomes, or you are one person and now there's two, you want to, at least at the beginning, check it every so often. We want to revisit it. We want to refine it. We want to be able to make our money grow. We do occasionally want to look into our investment accounts to make sure that we didn't get our allocations too hard one way or another. And again, if you're someone at the beginning that's really in hustle mode, you can look at it weekly. Or to be honest with you, this is going to sound ridiculous, but I look at some of my spending stuff daily because it takes me about 3 minutes. And what happens sometimes, because I have business accounts and some other credit cards that we use, every once in a while I found out some fraudulent charges will happen and I can catch them right away versus something that might have taken a month for me to notice. So, we go from there. I'm not real specific on my categories. I probably do more of the zero budget mentality these days. Because again, now when you talk about 50, 30, 20, my overhead is probably more like 30 or 40%. And I have 50 or 60% left over to sort of invest and do what I want. But it took a long time to get there. So just know you can do that. And here's the thing. If you got yourself in a bad financial situation, you're not going to fix this overnight. So give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time. When you screwed up a little bit, it's okay. This is not about having it be perfect. It's about progress, heading in the right direction. And again, the younger and sooner you can do it, the better, because you're trying to build new habits, new mindsets, and you're trying to build for that future you and getting to that financial freedom number that I'm always harping on. So you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. You need to be consistent. You are not going to need to track every penny, and I don't want you to give up everything that you find joy in. If you love eating out, or you love having coffee out, or you like traveling, you just need to build these things into your budget and have a system that works for you, not against you. And here's that next step. So pick a budget that works for you, set up the automations, and start tracking your money like you actually one day want to be financially free so that you know you're going to get there. So if you have questions about all this, by all means, reach out to me, let me know, and hopefully this will get you started on this. There's a lot of videos hidden in this channel that will give you a lot more detail on some of the things we talked about today. But pick one, start one. Don't get frustrated when it falls off the rails a little bit, because shit happens, life happens, and hopefully this can be something to get you on your journey to starting. And I realize budgeting sucks, but you won't have to do it forever.